Leo, hello. Welcome to Coffee, Sage, and Tarot. This is going to be your monthly reading for December 2025. It's crazy how quickly the year has flown. But here we are doing your monthly overview for December. We're going to take a look at any challenges and opportunities, as well as what you should be releasing and embracing as we head into December 2025. I did want to let you know as well that I am doing a 2026 year in review. So we're going to take a look. It's a full 12 card overview, and I do have bookings for that. So if you're interested in that one-on-one, I think it'll be really insightful. Shoot me an email. My email is in the description box. And we can make that happen for you, okay? All the cards have been pre-shuffled, so let's go right ahead and see what, yeah. We're actually going to put this up here. Okay. So the cards have been pre-shuffled. I don't know if I said that or not. Okay. So challenge 3 of Wands. Yeah, and I felt this during your meditation as well. Like, hold on. Like, my stomach just kind of kept dropping. I kept getting butterflies, but like not for a good reason. So that definitely did feel a little bit like that 3 of Swords. Just a general discomfort here, kind of borderline on panic. So just kind of be mindful of that as we head into December. And of course, we will get some clarifiers for everything, okay? The opportunities here, that 8 of Cups. Yeah, you know, I feel like, at least for the Leo that I've been reading for, it's been kind of a challenging time. And it's not that everything is kind of going awry, but it just feels like you've not really been yourself, Leo. And so I'm happy to see this, and really excited to see how this clarifies for you. But with that 8 of Cups, it does feel like we're kind of moving on from this energy, right? Or at least there's an opportunity in December to do so. It does feel quite heavy doing that, okay? But it feels almost... I'm wondering if for some of you there's an aspect of a betrayal that's here, which is adding kind of a deeper component here. But it feels necessary, that 8 of Cups energy, okay? Leo, for what we should be releasing, 9 of Cups. And we should be embracing that Knight of Cups. This very much feels like the facade versus the work, okay? And again, we will go ahead and clarify here. But with this 9 of Cups, it feels like, and I sometimes feel this way when I see that 9, it's, yes, personal achievement, and look at what we have. Look at what's on display. Don't look under here. Don't look under here, right? It's a mess under here. Okay, and that's kind of what I'm feeling from this card's energy here for you, Leo, is that we're sitting in front, we're kind of protecting what we have. He is still guarded, right, with his arms crossed here, and that's kind of what I'm feeling. It's almost like there's a facade, there's an act. You're putting on an act, and this feels like, let's get real a little bit, right? Let's have like a true moment here. And it feels like that's what we're kind of asking for with that Knight of Cups energy. A little bit more self-reflection, a little bit more diving into that mess and understanding why it is the way it is, or why perhaps we keep repeating patterns, or why perhaps we're feeling this pain, kind of diving into that and exploring it so that we can process it, accept it, and then ultimately, just like that 8 of Cups is depicting here, walk away from that energy, right? In the shadow here, you do have that Fool energy, along with the King of Pentacles, the Moon, and that, the Moon, the World, and that 6 of Cups. So it does feel like there's a lot going on. Whatever this 3 of Swords is, it does feel significant, okay? And it does, I get that desire that you want to walk away from this. With that World, it feels like we're not closing loops just yet, but we will be soon. Hopefully, you know, by the end of January, there will be some loop closing on this. I'm wondering if some of you might just book a trip so that you don't have to deal, or, try like spend your energy elsewhere, physically, so that you don't have to kind of be in this moment or feeling kind of what we're feeling here, right? You don't have to deal with it. But let's go ahead and get some clarifiers here for you. Show me that Three of Swords as the challenge for Leo. Yeah, you're very much blocking, right? With that Seven of Wands, just really blocking that exit. And I'm wondering if part of you're like, you might be defending this, you might be saying, no, I've got it handled, I won't let this get too close, or whatever it is, right? But almost blocking that ending in kind of however you're doing that this month, Leo. Blocking that Eight of Cups ending here. And with that Six of Pentacles, just really, it feels like staying in this pain, staying in this painful situation here, not letting yourself go. It's almost like you're trapping yourself. Yeah. Let's get some clarification on this Eight of Cups, please, as the opportunity. Yeah. Let's get some clarification on that Eight of Cups. Thank you. Let's get some clarification on that Nine of Cups energy, please, for Leo, in terms of what they should be releasing. Show me that Nine of Cups as what Leo should be releasing, please. Show me that Nine of Cups as what Leo should be releasing, please. Interesting. We go from the 10 to the 9 to the 8. Very much a breakdown here. Very much a let's get real moment. Very much let's think practically here. It feels like you're calling yourself out on your own bullshit, Leo. That's kind of what I'm feeling. So, and maybe it does get to that point. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and get clarification on that Knight of Cups. And show me that Knight of Cups energy in terms of what we should be embracing for Leo in December. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I'm just gonna adjust. Always adjusting. Okay. Yeah, so I did hit on that Three of Swords here with that Seven of Wands, the Eight of Cups, and that Six of Pentacles. And you know what I will say, at least for this energy here, it feels like it's very balanced. It's very measured in terms of what I'm seeing. You're kind of, it does feel like the challenge is that you're stuck in this, or too, almost like digging your heels in the sand, like really just kind of stubbornly defending this, or not allowing yourself to walk away. It's gonna work, it's gonna work, it's gonna work, it'll be fine, it'll be fine, it'll be fine. And in one way or another, almost not acknowledging or not seeing this Three of Swords for what it is, this pain for what it is, this heartache, right? And it's almost until you walk away that you're almost shielding yourself from that Eight of Cups energy, in terms of you're shielding yourself from the opportunity to walk away from this and really lighten your load. Okay. With that Eight of Cups just kind of showing up, right, as what you should be, as an opportunity here, and as well in the clarifiers, it really does drive that point home that there is an opportunity to walk away from this. There is an opportunity to put this behind you. And with the Three of Cups Three of Swords in the reverse, there's an opportunity to close this loop in a major way. And that's why I'm saying I'm wondering if there is some aspect of betrayal here. This feels very close to home. It feels very much like, whatever this dynamic is, this person, this situation, this environment here, it's very close to you, or it's very important, or it has a big impact on your daily life. And that's why it's so hard to kind of release this. But there is an opportunity to do that. And if you do that and kind of see this for what it is, and it's almost like you need to release yourself from it, right? There will be a new opportunity here, right? With that Three of Pentacles on the other side, there will be something new on your path that you can build, right? The three of Pentacles can sometimes mean apprenticeship, right? So it could even be work related, right? Or job related, school related, something where something's not working and it hasn't been working for some time, and you realize, oh, I can't make this fit, and now everything's kind of building. And it doesn't seem like this is an easy thing to rectify, which could be part of the challenge as well. But there is an opportunity to walk away from it. And it does feel like if you truly want to walk away from this, the universe will have your back, and spirit will have your back with presenting you with something relatively quickly, once you've decided to close this loop. Okay. But the opportunity is there to walk away. And it does feel like you're walking away from something that no longer serves you into the potential of something that could be more, could be better for you, Leo. Okay. In terms of what we're releasing here, and I did touch on this a little bit, we have the 10 of Pentacles, the 9 of Cups, and the 8 of Pentacles here. So again, really grounding. Like I said, it does feel like you're almost saying, okay, let's be real here. And when we move from the 10 to the 9 to the 8 and kind of that downward progression, it's almost like this idea of we're taking so much, everything that we have, and we're whittling it down and almost doing a purge of you. It could even be a purge of your space, right? A deep clean, and really just focusing on, okay, does this fit? Does this not? Like Marie Kondo, right? Does this give me joy? Does this fuel my purpose? And if it doesn't, let's get rid of it. And so maybe even doing that within your home, within what you're giving your time, energy, and effort to, and in that, having an understanding. Oh, hang on one second. I gotta show the dog some love. Sorry about that. But just kind of working through and maybe starting in your physical and, understanding the emotional attachment maybe you have to the appearance of things, to how, like physical things can bring internal satisfaction, right? So gaining, what am I trying to say here? It's like gaining validation through external things, and it feels like not being so materialistic, right? And I'm not calling you materialistic. I'm just saying, like, we can sometimes place too much value in physical things as opposed to, family, friends, building relationships, focusing on ourselves, making sure that we're, being mindful of what we are giving our energy to, right? As opposed to going and spending $500, on a jacket just because it looks cool. You know what I mean? And those things are good for you as well, but just kind of in everything in balance. And it feels like kind of breaking down what is filling our cup from the outside. And even if, perhaps we are seeking validation from outside of us, as opposed to giving ourselves that validation. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing here, right? And again, just doing the work to kind of realize, is our sense of personal achievement built on what other people think of us, right? In some aspect or another. And it feels like the cards are kind of calling you out and saying, let's get back to what matters here. With the Knight of Cups here, in terms of what you should be embracing, we have that Six of Cups, the Seven of Swords in the reverse, and the Eight of Wands, which is really quite beautiful, right? Because we go from the 10, the 9 to the 8 in terms of what you should be releasing. And then in terms of what you should be embracing, we go from the 6 to the 7 to the 8. So there's a kind of a breaking down in order to build up, which is really quite lovely and really like just another kind of confirmation from the cards and from spirit that you have to break everything down to get to the base of the issue or the core of the issue, the root of the problem, in order to start building it up the right way. So this kind of does, without the Tower card really being here, it does feel like December is a tower, is a bit of a disruption for you, Leo. And it really feels like, are you going to take this opportunity or not? Are you going to rebuild in the way that you should, right? And have that solid foundation going forward. Right. And so with this Knight of Cups here, like I said, we have that Six of Cups, that Seven of Swords in the reverse, and that Eight of Wands. So this idea of focusing on what matters, right? And so this idea of giving ourselves what we need, speaking to our inner child, speaking to our vulnerable self, and very much in a nurturing way of how do we build ourselves up from the inside out, from the inside out as opposed to the outside in. And that's by challenging ways that we have allowed others to take advantage of us, how we have not put ourselves as priority, how we have gotten into certain situations or, environments where it's not necessarily super safe for us to be. It's not necessarily where we want to be. And it's not beneficial to who we see ourselves being in the long run, right? And so it's kind of this gentle confrontation and this gentle self-reflection in terms of what is behind that curtain and what we gain validation from, right? And doing that work to understand, okay, I pushed it too far here. I need to rein it in, or I didn't push it enough. And I need to make sure that, I do this next time, right? Or I actively seek this instead when I'm in that situation, right? So just really diving into that cup and having an understanding of what we want and how to make our life what we want it to be. Because you're not the happiest, Leo, that I've seen you, right? And so it is moving forward and continuing on that kind of forward path, right? Sorry, she just wants loving. So with that Two of Wands, the Page of Cups, and that Five of Swords, yeah, it feels like very much choices. I feel like choices are going to be important for you in the month of December, Leo. And it does feel here with that Page of Cups and that Five of Swords energy here with Judgment behind it, that there is some sort of influence here or some person, some situation that is not super kind to you and hasn't been for some time and is kind of in the background just making things maybe not making them worse, but definitely not making them better. Okay. We are looking at some final thoughts here for you. So summing up the challenges for you, that Knight of Wands, right? Challenges are what make us better, right? Challenging who we are, challenging our morals, challenging our integrity, testing our limits is what brings us to the best version of ourselves. And with that King of Wands energy, it's very much how can you get to where you are in charge? You are the best person that you want to be. Page of Swords here in terms of what, opportunities there are, some new thought, right? Putting this behind you here, this Three of Swords, ending that loop in a major way and moving forward and thinking differently, having a different perspective on things or gaining clarity, right? Gaining a different perspective on a current situation. And maybe that will help you take the steps that you need to move on, right? King of Cups here in terms of what you should be letting go of, having an understanding of having an honest conversation with yourself about where you stand and what is in that cup. Are you too indulgent at times? Of course, and we all are, right? But just having that conversation of, I need to be mindful of X because I can easily take it too far. And we all have those things. And it's not about, being weak or being, it's not about anything negative. It's just about having a better understanding of who we are and what our pressure points are so that we can be mindful of that as we continue to move forward. Judgment here in terms of what you should be embracing, coming to almost like an aha moment of having this understanding of who you are, who you're meant to be, where do you see your life going, right? And kind of having a little bit, like I said, calling yourself out on your own bullshit here, having a little moment of nudging yourself in that right direction, having an awakening. And like I said, with December being a tower for you, Leo, it feels like there's something that might happen that spurs you into, like kicks you into action here, so that you can kind of wake up to this situation and wake up to, what's holding you back in this way, right? Because the Leo that I've been reading for some time has had some, has been kind of going through it, right? And it feels like you've been kind of going through it in silence, in solitude, and all of these issues that you've kind of been dealing with silently or trying to keep at bay or fully even ignoring, right? We're not going to deal with this right now. It doesn't matter. There's something about that where December is confrontation time, where you're very much these topics become things that you have no choice but to address, but to confront, right? We need to look at what's underneath that curtain and what is a mess, because life does get messy. We get messy, right? And it's about having that understanding, not just ignoring it, because when we ignore it, it becomes a bigger problem. Six of Swords, Five of Swords, Queen of Swords, and Justice showing up in that shadow. Okay, so moving on here, right into that Five of Swords, confrontation for sure, but of the self is what I'm seeing here. And it could even be with, through that confrontation with this particular dynamic, whether it be a person, a situation, a job, whatever it is, right? There's a hard lesson here. And it could even be confrontation with yourself, right? Or, sorry, that external factor is almost a mirror for what's happening inside. And so with that Queen of Swords, there's a lesson to be learned, right? There's a general understanding, a new kind of, there's a lesson to be learned here. And it does feel like it's a challenge, Leo. With Justice here showing up at the back end of that, it could be, some sort of karmic justice here, that you have to deal with. It could be something that you've carried with, or at least this pattern, right? with that World card coming in. This could be the culmination of, or the buildup of, a pattern that you've been kind of cycling through for some time, and that's why this feels so heavy. It feels so important. There's a weight here, right? And it could be that, there really is a profound opportunity in the month of December, Leo, to put this cycle to rest. Okay. Let's go ahead and get some final clarifiers. Let's get some final clarifiers here for Leo. Which justice is coming? Karmic justice, right? 27 or 9. I'm wondering if as well you feel like you deserve some of this, right? You deserve what's coming to you. And so that's why you're kind of staying in it, right? But even that line of thinking, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Spaceship. Don't be afraid to sing. Okay? Don't be afraid to let your voice be heard, to be your authentic self. There's a vulnerability in singing, right? And putting yourself out there in that way. And Leo, I feel like that is or has been a challenge for you, at least for the Leo that I read for. This idea of imperfection is okay. And vulnerability is okay. And you don't have to have it all together to exist in this world. Sundress, do it for you. And that's really it here. At the end of the day, nobody is going to you can give and give and give all you want to a situation, a person, a dynamic. But at what cost? At what cost? You got to save some for yourself, Anything else here for Leo? Anything else here for Leo? I do feel like one more needs to come. One more for Leo here. Confidence. It comes with time and practice. Leo, that's what I have for you. A little bit of an intense reading here, a little bit of an intense closing out of December. And just know that, you don't have to keep it all together. You don't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, right? You can be a little vulnerable and start peeling back those layers, right? This is what I have for you for the month of December. I really hope this reading helps you gain some clarification. Know that I'm thinking of you and with you always. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I wish you all the best in this month ahead. And we'll see you next time. You take care.